Alaikum, good morning, hello everyone, and welcome to World This Morning, only on PTV World with me, Maha Mukhtoom. I hope you guys are doing very well today. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend and you're ready to start your week with myself. Before we get started and before I go to the news, I hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend. I actually was at a workshop Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for some really exciting stuff that will be coming up, and I will be sharing it with you guys later on in the coming weeks as well. So, you know, I was busy with work and it was really hot over the weekend as well. So I hope whoever had activities, you guys are looking after yourselves, especially if you're fasting. The weather is very intense these days, so please do look out for, you know, the weather when you do step out. But before I also get started, there was another thing I wanted to share. As you know, when we wake up, and we've done shows on this, you know, I think the first thing we do is we check our phones. We go to Facebook or we go to Instagram or some form of social platform. Now, you know, my accounts are public. You know, I share my work with all you guys. So there was someone who decided to message me and sent a very negative message in the sense that she'd gone through the page and, you know, picked up a picture of me and my Pakistani friends, female friends, and decided to comment on our looks and the fact that we were brown and we had typical Pakistani features. And this is a Pakistani telling us in a negative way that we are boring. Now, one thing I just want to say to all those people out there, when you troll someone, when you send something negative, what is the point of it? Please tell us what you would like from your, you know, what you would like to derive from sending that kind of negativity out there. So, you know, it's on my Facebook. Do go and check it out. See, you know, give me feedback on it, because I'm trying to understand the nature of the negativity and the trolling and the complex that we have with our own skin tone. We should be proud of the fact that we're brown, that we're South Asian. You know, we're not going to have blonde hair and blue eyes. I mean, certain areas do, but majority of people, they look like this. So we need to embrace it and we need to, you know, own it. But that is my little message for you guys today. But let's take a look at the top stories because we have a wonderful show lined up for you. Okay, the fossilized skeleton of an unidentified type of dinosaur is set to be auctioned in Paris on the first floor of the Eiffel Tower. Almost 9 meters long, the skeleton is unusually complete at almost 70% whole. That's amazing, and that will be a magical auction. So if you guys are in Paris and you're able to go, do check it out. Moving on, French artist Abraham Poincheval embarked on his latest feat, living inside a life-size replica of the prehistoric Lion Man figurine for 7 days at the museum in southwestern France. And some 80 pieces of plastic rubbish weighing 8 kg were found in the stomach of a whale that died in Thailand after a 5-day effort to save it. The whale spit out 5 plastic bags and later died. I read about this over the weekend. I shared it on my Twitter as well. I'm new to Twitter, but so sad, completely tragic. And, you know, it just shows that, you know, as human beings, we're failing at our responsibility to look after the vulnerable and also, you know, our environment. So guys, if you can try, you know, plastic bags are really negative, really bad for the earth. So we need to try and decrease our usage. Let's not be part of this kind of degradation of our country and of our space. Now, moving on, we have a wonderful show lined up for you. As you know, Ramadan is all about behaviors, and it's about reflecting, and it's about how can we make our society and our environment better. Now, one element is the family structure, and we've been focusing on that in the last couple of weeks as well, because that is where everything, you know, starts off from. So today we will be talking about Surah Isra, which will be telling us how to behave with our parents, how to look after them in, you know, once they're older, and we'll be looking at verse 23. And today we have been joined by Dr. Kamal Kaisar. She is a pediatrician, but she is also a Quran teacher for over 20 years, teaching children how to behave through through Sunnah and the Quran. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you so much for joining us, and
my
welcome
pleasure.
back.
It's
How
good
was your
to be
weekend?
back on the show.
Good. Thank you for being here. Okay, so we have a lot to cover today, and I feel
Yes.
like this is a very important message because with the changing times, you know, the societies are evolving and moving forward. Let's look at this verse and how we can implement it in the 21st century.
Yes, Maha, it is very important that we talk about parenting not just from one dimensions, but covering different aspects of it. So if you look at Surah Isra, which is also known as Surah Bani Israel, and today we'll be covering verse number 23 and 24.
Great.
So the verse starts, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And your Lord has decreed that you not worship except Him, and to your parents have good treatment. So if we just look into this part of the verse starts by a commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that what you need to do is be only connected to Him as a God, as the supreme authority. That's like the first thing that we have to keep in mind. And then immediately after that, He didn't give a message about prophethood, about the divine scriptures, about anything else, but immediately moved on to say, Wabil walidaini ihsana, do ihsan with your parents. Okay, like the connection after immediately as we submit to the God is we develop a better understanding of our family structure, system, and understand the hierarchy in our system at home, and also have respect and regard for it. And the word that is used over here is ihsan. It's not like be nice to your parents, it's ihsan. And ihsan comes from the root word husn.
Okay, and what is the literal translation?
Yeah, the husn is beauty. You know, that's what we say. Somebody is very haseen, so you're very beautiful. So basically what is expected of us in any given situation is that we give out a beautiful character. It is so surprising that everywhere in Quran, what we find out is that the same message, the standard message is going in different verses. وَبِالْ وَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, have a beautiful relationship with your parents. The parents are not asked to have a beautiful relationship with children. The parents have been asked to be responsible in taking care of their children and how they manage the system at home. And there are different kind of words and terminologies that are used for that aspect.
Okay.
But in this verse, the beautiful part is it moves on and says, إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَتَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْحَرْهُمَا. And it says, whether one or both of them reach old age with you, say not to them uff, and do not repel them. Now, this is important for us to understand that what we have been asked is there is going to be a time in your life when your parents are in authority, they're taking care of you, their yeses has to be yes for you, their no has to be taken as no. But a time would come when tables will be reversed, the roles will be changed, and now you are going to be in more authoritative position and more able to manage your systems. And then your parents, they need you. They are growing old. It could be one of them or both of them, and they are living with you. They are going to become like your kids now. Like they are going to throw tantrums. They would mess up things. They would annoy you. They would irritate you. They would want your attention and time, as there was a time when you wanted their attention and time. They would be very impatient in a lot of areas. And that's when it is said that what we're supposed to do is do not even say oof to them. Right. This is like the exact word which is used in Quran. Like, you know, sometimes people are talking and say, they're like, oh man, my old man is driving me crazy and nuts. So this is like something which is out of bounds for your parents, especially when they are in old age. No matter what they have gone through or what relationship you had with your parents or you didn't have, now they need you. Now you are in command, you are in control, you have an upper edge. And let us focus on this word, oof. If you look at this oof, this is a word of contempt. This is like an expression of disgust that you have towards something. This is like your
frustration and being fed up.
Exactly. Something which is not maybe there in the word, but it is in the body language, and it is reflecting in your actions. Like you look at someone and you are like, oh, you know, or in your heart you are saying something like, what should I do? You don't even utter the words, but it actually spells out that way. So this is what I have been told, that you are not even allowed to say oof, not even a body gesture at that moment.
Right.
And what about, we see the cases with the senior citizens of scolding and yelling and throwing them somewhere or totally discarding them from your life. And the verse moves on to say, وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. What you're supposed to do is you speak to them with the noble words. Kareem is a very respectful, civilized manner of dealing with your parents.
Okay.
How you talk to them, because this is the time when the parents need you, and this is the time when they're not able to take care of even their basic necessities. So we have been made sensitive at that time towards our, given sensitivity at that time towards our parents.
Right.
And then the verse 24, it guides us what we can do at that moment.
Okay.
وَحْفِظْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ, and lower to them the wings of humility out of mercy. The attitude that we have been given. Like, you know, you look at them, you see them. It's like, you know, you respect someone around you. It could be your teacher, or sometimes when you're with your boss. You don't stand in front of your boss with an attitude. You always look a little humble, either out of respect or obviously because of the status. So the same attitude have been described over here, that this is how you need to be in front of your parents. And then very beautifully it has been said, وَقُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. And make this dua. My Lord, have mercy upon them as they brought me up when I was small. What do we do, you know, when we are small? What kind of things we go through? What kind of scenarios they are? If you look at a life of a typical child, the child wants to play, so the parents are cutting out their activities, rushing the child to the play area somewhere. Gets bruised or injured, rushing them to the hospital. Is hungry, even if when the mom has wrapped up all the kitchen, she is going to again start cooking something on demand for the kids. In any situation the kids get into trouble, it's the parents who are bothered, and they are like, they're going crazy about the whole idea how they are going to settle down all the issues for the kids. And even sometimes when the kids are like, we are bored, so they're trying to provide them sources of entertainment. So for everything and anything, we have been told that in this age and this time, you need to give them a lot of du'as. You need to remember, yes, they might have not been the ideal parents in all situations, but still they're your parents. And now they're dependent on you. So take care of them.
Okay, so now this is the thing, and that's absolutely, we did discuss this as well in the previous, 3-4 years as well. But the thing is now, every time, this is one element that we notice, is that people are much more aware, these days, of their rights and, humanity and, equal rights, etc. But as you mentioned in the first verse, it's about the parents have done their role of responsibly and have taken care. There are set things out there in the Quran as well that the parents have, if I'm not mistaken, heaven is at the feet who educates their son and daughter, equally in that manner. So if you have parents that you feel have not done their responsibility, as you grow up, you can reflect on it. How do those children, as adults, deal with the fact that maybe their parents neglected them or maybe abused them? We're talking about extreme cases because we do see extreme cases, and we don't talk about the extreme cases as much. So how are they supposed to handle this? Because that's a lot of damage that they're also dealing with in their adulthood because of their parents. So what about those people?
Yes, Ahmad, I think this is a very important question in these times, because we're living in such a fast-paced life. And everyone is struggling with not only the dynamics coming from other people around, but also your own personal challenges. And then sometimes parents are so hooked up and occupied in their own activities, though they feel apparently that they are trying to do justice with their children. But if you look from the perspective of the kids, and even, by large, we do feel that, yes, they have missed out many major elements which should have been there with their children. And I definitely see many of those grown-ups who are very bitter about their parents and their attitude towards them. Basically, what we need to understand is, for one thing, we don't have a time machine to go back. I'm pretty sure many of those parents would be having regrets, because sometimes when you look back at your life, you're like, oh, wish I hadn't done this or I had done this. So I'm sure many of them do have regrets. But since none of us can go back in time to make amendments, what we can do is the moment you realize something has not been done right, you start taking right steps at that moment. That goes for the parent. Now, I'm going to talk about, as you said, the perspective of a child who has been asked to have a beautiful relationship with the parent, make dua for them, and every time you want to do something for them because, yes, they are your parents, you have this bitter feeling how they treated you or mistreated you in the childhood.
And maybe still treating you like that.
Maybe they are still very aggressive in the approach, in the parenting approach. So basically what you need to do is look at, because our religion tells us it's about rights and responsibilities. Okay? So our religion tells us what we need to focus on is what are my responsibilities in any given scenario. I fulfill those responsibilities in the best possible manner and try to accept those situations, because each one of us is going to have a certain test in life. And for some, the test is going to be coming from their parents. We have an example of a couple of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, in which one of the companion came to the Prophet and said that since I came towards Islam, my mother, who is not in the religion, she abuses me a lot. So what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to, should I cut off from her because it's very painful and irritating? And the Prophet said that, no, have a boundary for yourself that you are going to practice your religion, but apart from that, treat her nicely. Treat your mother or your parent nicely. So this is what we need to understand. We need to understand that we need to have some place where we can go for our own healing, so that we mellow down or dilute that bitterness that we have within ourselves. Then we need to give them the best possible behavior. I'm not saying still get abused by them, but the best possible behavior that we can do depending upon the situation, the scenario. You can write down what could be the best possible behavior in this situation. It might not be the best possible behavior for another child whose parents are doing really nice to that kid, So still, because this is what we have been told, you know, we have to understand.
So basically, we don't need to be so negative and mean. It's about taking into context as well. And understanding
and
the
then,
other
you know,
person.
you will never be a healthy person. If you are living with a negative family members and you are absorbing their negativity, and at the same time you're expelling out the same. Because if you are at your best behavior, what are they going to say? But if they said something
people still
nasty,
say, I mean, but they still say a lot even if you're on your best behavior. That's what I'm saying. So
that's what I'm saying. If they keep saying something nasty and you do your best and you move out of that scenario for a short period of time and you get engaged in your own activities, at least you will have peace of mind that I did my best. And then I'm not going to carry that baggage of negativity for the whole day with me that, see, I did this and my parents couldn't do this with me. You just accept them, that that's how they are. And that's probably the best they can give me. And that's a challenge I have to meet. And I need to accept that as a challenge.
Okay, wonderful. And I think that's a perfect note to end that on. Thank you so much for your time, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you so much. Have a great day. So that was wonderful. And, you know, during Ramadan, it's all about reflection. It's all about self-growth and, you know, trying to be a better human being, providing other people and understanding, you know, their situations as well, and, you know, breaking bad habits. So with that, let's go for a short break. And when you come back, we're going to be talking about the other element, the responsibility of the parents when they are disciplining your child as well, how to keep that relationship healthy without it going into abuse. Let's take a break and let's talk when you get back.